It's a quiet Tuesday afternoon. The house is still, and the phone hasn't rung. You've just finished a task. Something ordinary, something small. And in the pause that follows, a familiar feeling settles in. It isn't sharp sadness. It's not panic. It's quieter than that. Heavier, harder to explain. And if you're over 50, this kind of loneliness can feel especially confusing because it doesn't feel like something is missing from your life. It feels more like something inside you is beginning to change. By this stage of life, you've done a lot of living. You've invested yourself. You've cared for others. You've built routines, relationships, and responsibilities that once filled your days. So when this quiet emptiness appears, it can be unsettling. In this video, we'll gently explore why loneliness feels different after 50, and how understanding that shift can bring calm rather than concern. What if this feeling isn't a sign that something has gone wrong, but a signal that something inside you is slowly changing? After 50, loneliness often has a different character. It's less about being alone in the world and more about feeling slightly out of step with it. The noise of a crowded room may no longer nourish you the way it once did. Conversations that used to pass the time may now leave you feeling oddly drained rather than energized. This doesn't mean you've become distant, and it doesn't mean you no longer value people. It means your inner world is asking for a different quality of connection, something quieter, more intentional, less performative. The silence you're encountering isn't empty. It's waiting. This change isn't happening only in your thoughts. It's happening throughout your whole system. As we move through midlife, the body and brain naturally begin to operate on a new rhythm. Energy is used more carefully. Recovery takes longer. Sensitivity increases. When meaningful connection feels uncertain, the body can quietly move into a state of alert. You might notice feeling more tired than you expect, more cautious, less restored by sleep, even when you've had enough hours. This isn't weakness. It's your system trying to keep you safe. For most of life, noise, movement, and constant interaction were linked with purpose and belonging. Busy meant useful. Full days meant connection. So when life begins to quieten after 50, when the schedules thin out and the demands ease, the brain doesn't always recognize that calm as safety. It can mistake stillness for absence, silence for something missing. But here's the gentle reframe. This sensitivity isn't a flaw. It's adjustment. Your brain isn't breaking, it's recalibrating. It's learning how to live with less external noise and discovering a deeper capacity for inner richness. The task now isn't to rush to fill the quiet or distract yourself from it. It's to slowly reassure your nervous system that this calmer rhythm is not a threat. It's simply a different way of being alive. Often, this recalibration is triggered by milestones we once worked very hard to reach. The empty nest, a house that grows quiet after years of constant coordination, noise, and emotional demand. Retirement, the sudden absence of a role that once structured your days and quietly defined who you were in the world. We prepare for these moments practically, but we rarely prepare for the emotional texture of the silence they leave behind. This isn't the loneliness of being forgotten. It's the solitude that follows a job well done. The responsibilities that once required so much of you have eased, not because they failed, but because they succeeded. And that success can leave a wide, unfamiliar space. Our instinct is to fill it. We stay busy. We add commitments. We look for substitutes for rhythms that no longer fit. But this often leads to a deeper kind of weariness, because you can't meet a need for quiet meaning with constant activity. This stage of life asks for a different kind of courage. Not the courage to push or strive, but the courage to pause, to listen, to sit with uncertainty, to trust that purpose now arrives quietly, not urgently, not as a dramatic announcement, but as a steady, patient whisper. Alongside these inner shifts, the social world changes too. Friendships built on proximity, shared workplaces, daily routines, convenience, naturally loosen as life reorganizes. This isn't rejection, it's circumstance. Even long-standing friendships evolve. Everyone is adjusting to their own energy levels, responsibilities, and quieter priorities. This can create a subtle hesitation. You might pause before reaching out, not wanting to intrude. They may be pausing for the same reason. That shared stillness can feel like loss, when it's often just a slower tempo. After 50, connection tends to become less frequent, but more intentional. A quiet walk, a thoughtful conversation, a cup of tea shared without pressure. Friendship shifts from constant activity to steady presence. The landscape hasn't disappeared. It has opened. When the nervous system stays gently alert for too long, the body feels it. Small aches linger. Energy dips more easily. Sleep becomes lighter and less restorative. This isn't your body letting you down. It's communicating. It's asking for reassurance, not stimulation. Moments of calm connection matter more now. A grounded conversation. Time in nature. Feeling quietly part of something larger and steady. These moments gently tell your system, you are safe. You belong. You are not alone. The goal isn't to eliminate alone time. It's to let it feel supportive rather than empty. So what do we do with this quiet? We stop fighting it. When the feeling appears, instead of judging it as loneliness, you might gently say, this is quiet. This is a different rhythm. That small shift matters. It turns absence into space, lack into possibility. Then, one gentle step, not to fill time, but to honor it. A short walk with someone you trust, a few minutes with a warm cup of tea, noticing the light in the room. This is the kind of connection your system is now seeking. Meaning, not motion. You are not declining, you are deepening. The space you feel is not something to fear. It is a new landscape, inviting curiosity and grace. And in this quieter season of life, you may discover that the most important connection of all is the one you're learning to build with the person you've become. If reflections like this help you feel understood, you're always welcome here. And you might want to consider subscribing for more guidance on these quiet transitions. Thanks for sharing this quiet moment, and be gentle with yourself today.